you might have killed your model in your last shoot, or at least killed the life in their eyes. If you want to upgrade your portrait game or even wedding photography shots, master Catchlights. It's the one thing that transforms a photo from to wow. Today I'm showing you 3 real examples from subtle fixes to actual revivals, and you'll walk away knowing exactly where Catchlights should go and why. So let's bring some life into those eyes. So let's start with a good example. This is a typical headshot a la Peter Hurley that I've done hundreds of times, and I've always had 3 huge lights with me. Annoying to carry, but worth every shining effort. You see these catchlights in here? These eyes just pop and shine. So this is what people like about those headshots. The lighting might be a bit flat, but the eyes are really great. This kind of lighting is not for every situation though. Let's look at other images and how to enhance those. First, this lady with a hat. This image has a catchlight. You can see it here and here, but it's a bit too subtle for my taste. In the eye, you can see actually where the light was positioned. It's a great tip actually for photographers to find out lighting setups. Where did the photographer put what kind of light? The catchlights in here exist top right, but you know what? Let's enhance those a bit. You have 2 main sections in Evoto. The first is enhancement of what is already there, and the second is adding catchlights that haven't been there yet, but should be. So the eye enhancement section, you have to pull up the general slider here for the brightness, and this will open up the detailed view. You can now dial down iris, the eyes, the whites in the eyes, which you always should bring down at max 10% maybe. But I think the catchlight is a bit too small for my taste. Let's add from the templates below and go for indoors. And add this great looking softbox here. Here it is. But something seems off here, because we know the light source is on the right side of the face. It's bright here, it's dark on this side. So it doesn't make sense that you see a softbox that's positioned on the left side of the model. So this is something you have to keep in mind. Look at where the shadows and the highlights are and put the catchlight in that position. So what you can do, you just pick a different version of the catchlight here, but you could also go down and flip it horizontally if you prefer the actual lighting that you chose. Now you might want to go back down a bit, and you should probably in this case. 30 looks fine here. And you can also move it left and right, and I think you should move it a bit more to the right side. And here I think it looks really natural and great. So before and after. Just zooming in a bit more. Now there is a bit more light, subtle, but I think gives a bit more life to her eyes. Next photo is this black and white portrait. In full disclosure, this is not my best photo. I know it doesn't have catchlights at all, but it has some good contrast, so we're not starting from scratch. The question again is, where do catchlights go? And it's time to play detective again. The left side, of course, is bright. The right side is a bit darker. So light's coming from top because you see there's shadow down here. So light's coming from up here. So where do the catchlights go? Of course, top left in the eye. This looks pretty good, but it looks like someone brought an octabox outside of the studio right here in the park, which not everyone does. So instead of using one of those indoor catchlights, let's go over to the general section and use one of those natural ones. So the natural ones are much more subtle and smaller. It looks like some different smaller light sources in the background. So natural light that fills the sky or comes from some objects around her. It's a safer choice because most photographers don't drag an octabox to a park. Most don't. If you want to go for a more directional light, you can choose this one, for example, but again, light is coming from this side, so we're going to flip it and then of course move it a bit more to the left and a bit more up, because we said the light is coming from pretty much from the top. Before and after. Much, much better. The golden rule is bring down the brightness. You're adding shine, not installing LED lights in her eyeballs, okay? So let's go back a bit to maybe 50%. The last one is a studio look shot in front of a window. It's decent, but I think the eyes are still a bit boring. She also does have some visible veins in here. Maybe she didn't have a good enough sleep yet. So it's time for the full toolkit now. So we could start with adding some overall brightness, but I would suggest we add that later because adding a lot of catchlight will do this as well. It brightens up the eyes, it brings out structure in the eyes. And in this case, we see there's a lot of red veins in here. So we go to the eye white enhance section and go to 50% maybe, again to have the wiggle room. And the red vein removal maybe go to 70% or something like that, just to make the veins more subtle. I don't suggest to remove them at all because that looks kind of unnatural, so we don't want that. And the eye white cleanser, I would say stay below 20% because it's just getting unnatural the more you turn it up. Now, adding catchlight, where does the light come from? In this case, the left side and the right side of the face are both equally lit. So that means there's no light from left or right. It's pretty even. Also, there's not much shadow below, so there's also not a lot of light coming from on top. It's a pretty flat lighting. Since I took the photo, I know that she's standing in a room and I'm taking the photo through a balcony door. So all the light is coming from front. So now we need natural looking catchlights. Here are the ones that I think really work well. It's the ones, again, as in the picture before, where we don't have the directional spotlight, but more a general lighting up of her face. I think this one looks really, really good. And again, you don't have brightness turned up here, and it already gives it a lot of brightness and shine just by adding the catchlight. If you want to add some more, go to the brightness section, bring down the eye whites again, maybe the eye reflections, and just put in a little more color by raising up the iris and maybe iris flare. But make sure she doesn't look like a husky dog afterwards. I would actually stick with only adding catchlights. One bonus tip for all of us wedding photographers. We are all limited in time and we run out on locations to bring the whole group of people there. And we can't look for perfect spots where all their eyes are shiny and bright. So what about group photos like this one against the beautiful sun, but with rather dull eyes? So bring it into Evoto, choose all in the retouching section, and then add catchlights like so. And within a second, you have catchlights in every person's eye. Bring it back enough so it doesn't look strange. And now they look like they're actually happy and not staring into a dark future. Evoto is incredible for adding catchlights. But here's the bonus. You'll start to learn how light works. You can play around with it. You can experiment with it. You can see what works and what doesn't work. And you'll see lighting direction every photo in the future. Eventually, you'll become a better photographer because you light correctly in camera already. Next time you're editing, don't accept dead eyes. Bring them back to life. Your clients will thank you even if they don't know why their photos look better now. But you know.